Welcome to another edition of the B1X, also known as the Business One Exchange. I'm your host, Corey Mendelson, president at NewIntelligence. I want to welcome our special guest, Giancarlo Franzvia, CEO of Linfa Systems Solutions. Hey, Giancarlo, thanks for joining me today. How you doing?
Hi, Corey. Thank you for having me here. We're really looking forward to be here.
Awesome. Well, to get things started, let's kick things off right away. We'll start off with one of the opening questions. Just really from to get things started, we want to talk about from an SAP B1 perspective with regards to users. What does your solution do in one sentence as an offering?
Absolutely. At Linfa, yeah, we're a supply chain co-pilot, if you would. Would you imagine as a supply chain co-pilot for a company that we have certified SAP professional with over 20 years of experience, and we guide customer through every step on inventory management and supply chain technology, from TBO for WMS, TMS to ERP enhancement to scanners, label printers. So we handle it all with one point of contact, so our customer will never get lost in the tech shuffle.
Awesome. And in regards to you yourself, in terms of your background and experience, aside from Linfa, maybe you can just introduce yourself from your background.
Absolutely, might not be as interesting, but I actually start um, back 20 years ago into the SAP B1 space as my first job was SAP B1 developer.
Okay.
Then I moved SDK developer. We got certified back then. I was living in Italy. That was went to the France lab to certified. It was very nice to be around the European market and moved to the US market then about 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. Moving to other position like B1 consultant, project manager, handle the development for some other partners, work through partners, and then at a certain point I also work for customers IT manager as well. And then at a certain point I look for a gap in the market for the WMS specifically, as that was my passion. And I decided to start the venture of Linfa. And since then, it's been a great journey.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So as NewIntelligence QuickStart solution transforms, SAP B1 data into real-time dashboards and insights that really drive smarter decisions. But today I'm looking to expand on how Linfa and NewIntelligence team up together to focus on integrating WMS for Linfa as well as the analytics with NewIntelligence for SAP Business One. So to get into more of the conversation on the unified value, Giancarlo, what's the biggest benefit of Linfa and NewIntelligence working together?
Great, that's a great question. So is one good thing of the SAP ecosystem, I will say, is to meet, great ISV and great partner like yourself. And we always go to the SAP summits as well. We're very proactive in the community. But I do think that the partnership between Linfa and NewIntelligence is a perfect partnership, perfect synergy. And why that is because it's a perfect combo where powerful logistics and real measurable insight they blend together. So while Linfa give an advanced warehouse management solution, transport management solution, and run your warehouse efficiently, NewIntelligence will add full visibility to your data. And when you can actually measure your ROI of all the application that you spend money on. We like to think this way all the time, right? That running a warehouse without KPI is like driving a car with no speedometer or no fuel gauge. Yes, it will still move, you can still run it, but you will never know how fast you're going, or even worse, when you're gonna run out of gas. And so I think with proper business intelligence tool like yourself, you people, the one your company offer, people can actually track performance, make smarter decision, and celebrate the success that they were aiming for when they first implement solution like us.
Absolutely. And together we help businesses not just run better, but think smarter. For me, it's all about collaboration and staying in our lane, focusing on our own specialties, and then working with experts like Linfa to provide a cohesive solution together. Now, getting into the areas of the pain point focus, for you, what's the number one pain point you see in your space, and how do you go about solving it?
Huh. So there's many pain points, right? But there is one that is very, very common and one of the biggest one as well for, customer or partners that reach out to us and say we need the WMS. And one of those is the warehouse visibility, inventory accuracy, and actually digital transformation. Those are the more than one, they're the main three things that people are looking for when they want a WMS for SAP Business One. And the reason why is because sometime, for example, in SAP Business One, you have a pick list where the pick list will move from created to released to picked. So your stock will stay in the same bin, it will just have different status. But there is no concept of staging. There's no concept of getting a stock picked and moved to another location. So when the inventory is physically moved, this will create gaps in visibility or inaccurate stock counts when people want to do stock counts. And it's very hard then to trust your data to that level if you have a big volume of order or a big warehouse. So with our solution, every step, the picking, the packing, the staging, the shipping is all tracked in real time and give you full auditability and inventory accuracy so you can finally run your warehouse with more confidence.
Gotcha. Okay. So for us also, reporting on our side as is the major pain point in the B1 space for us, where teams are spending hours pulling data manually. Our QuickStart solution really automates that and delivers a clean and actionable dashboard instantaneous. So we're not just helping clients address reporting, but helping business users explore on their own without relying on IT and truly giving them self-service to drill into the day-to-day challenges. So again, cohesively, the collaboration is extremely important.
Absolutely. And Corey, if I can quickly add to that, I think one very strong thing that we saw in some success stories together is being able with your tool to merge the depth of data from the WMS and the data of the ERP all together in one cohesive smart reporting tool has been incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So moving on from that and going into integration flow, let's walk through the data journey. So when someone scans a barcode in Linfa, how does that data move through SAP Business One and end up on a NewIntelligence QuickStart dashboard?
Great question. So we're getting to technicals here, which is great. That's my background, so I'm very happy to answer this question. And so basically, our integration work entirely on, first of all, SAP Business One service layer. So we try to always, follow the latest technologies, and we use service layer entirely. But also to go deeply to your question, we adopted service layer back in 2008. TB04 was made from Regroup, has adopted this in back 2018. So what it sets us really apart with other integration out there in terms of warehouse management solution, I think even if we have a solution that is loosely coupled, right? So it can be completed in a separate server. All we need is the service layer, URL and connection, is working with real-time SAP data. So what that means is that inventory level, purchase orders, sales orders, any kind of data that will require an input from the ERP, it will be prompted in real time every time you open the open purchase order screen, open sales order screen. Just to make sense of what I'm saying and make a practical example, a very good example that we like to answer all the time is creating a good receipt, right? So if you have a good receipt, when the user open on the scanner, a purchase order or a list of open purchase order, that's in real time. We see all the open purchase order from SAP. When it drills down and starts scanning quantity and scanning barcode, that's where we save everything in our database instead, our mirror database. And that's where we can add a lot of value to say, how long did it took me to receive this? Did he actually scan something with a barcode scan, or they manually input something? So all this good data, they are for a tool like yours to be there now in the sync database until they complete it and they create a good receipt in SAP, while you want one good receipt in SAP for one purchase order. But in the middle, there is a lot of more data that we have that we expose to a tool like yours for reporting, to be able to have way more information than just how many quantity I received against the purchase order.
Right. So then, QuickStart then pulls that data from SAP Business One into our reporting layer, where it's then visualized as KPIs like pick accuracy or cycle time within seconds. And, I kind of elaborate on from our side where we get, our integration flow, specifically with regards to one of our modules that we work with on the demand forecasting for inventory management, where we access orders not shipped, or we access purchase orders not yet received in the warehouse, or looking at current inventory on hand, and basically looking at historical usage to then predict when we're going to get stock out timing. So again, a lot of this integration flow from the warehouse management system and being able to bring that information into our reporting layer really kind of leverages both aspects of things from the data and really making sense of the data and giving analytics to that to allow the business users to make decisions, or what I like to refer to as intelligent business decisions, based on the data that's being provided to them. So that's great. So, moving along with regards to some of the wins that we've had together, what's one small win most customers see in the first month of using your solution?
Great. Good question. So there are definitely some low-hanging fruit that are for them to grab right away. There are really two things we see a lot that they don't realize, like how powerful a proper warehouse management implementation and proper reporting tool will provide. One of them will be going back to where their major pain point is they now get full visibility. So they actually know what's happening. And what's the first win is having full visibility every pick. They can see who scanned it, how long did it took to scan it, what are the mistakes they did, as they will be able to audit. Did I pick 10 and they delete 10 and I pick 5 again with the right lot? So there is somebody who's making a lot of mistakes, and all of that, it could be even in real time. The other very short, quick win for them is when they introduce their freight integration in the packing module, where now they can see their process completely streamlined, where they go there, they pack something, and as they pack, they print a label for freight with rate shopping right from the packing station. So it doesn't stop there with it doesn't only stop there. There's also a customer service portal where now their customer service or salespeople, they can look at it and see instantly, where is my order, what is it going, where is it going, what is the tracking number, and so on, right in there. So they have everything under control right away for the short hanging fruit, for that information that they need right there.
Awesome. Yeah, for us, it's similar, in regards to where we get those, where customers end up seeing things is clients tell us they save hours every week on, reporting and gathering all that information. And they love how easy it is to explore their data without needing IT. I even had, one CEO said to me, he goes, well, what used to take me 20 hours now takes me 20 minutes. And again, it's the power of those statements that really stand out in regards to giving access to the information and putting in these solutions that help business operate in a more streamlined fashion, in a more optimized fashion, but then also at the same time, giving them that visibility to show things are progressing along the way.
True.
So, from a success perspective or a success story perspective, can you share a simple success story that shows how your solution made a measurable difference?
Yes. So, if I think one of the most impressive success story that we had, probably we have two that are very, very significant. But the main one is we have a luxury brand in New Jersey, right? They ship luxury brand items, so they're very expensive, and they had a process with four people. They had a picker, they have a checker, then they have a packer, and then they have a shipper. For every order, imagine every order was touched by four people. There was a picker, there was a checker to make sure the picker picked the right thing. Then there is a packer who's an expert to packing those goods very nicely because it's a luxury brand. And now there is a shipper who needs to now print the freight label to ship to the customers ordering, from his house, maybe e-commerce rather than a retailer. With our solution, they now cutting the process from having the order touching from four people to just two people so they can reallocate those resources to picking and have more order picked. And they trust enough the system now to not need for a checker. So their fulfillment, it got up to 40%. And the operational costs got cut for about 50%. That's because now the packer, it can just print the freight label right there, so they don't need another person to manually enter all the address and the size and manually into their shipping solution. It's all one unified solution, and they really need two people, the picker and the packer. Everything is logged. There's no need for manual check, manual intervention right there. And then there is another very briefly, another success story just to give you some insight on what we can provide is also we have a customer in the West Coast instead, where they have very strict rules about truck overloading. When a truck is too heavy, you get fined, and you get fined a lot. So what happened is that they had that issue a lot, and they had no way in the ERP to track the actual weight of a pallet, even if they know the weight of the items. The items they were, is like one of those things that you buy by pounds. So during production, it can be over, it can be under. So with our solution, after production, they actually weigh the whole pallet. They can support license plating, so they can print license plating. They can associate a weight to the license plate. So when they go and pick now, they have validation in place that don't allow them to pick over the allowed weight of the truck. What they did, number one, they had an instant saving, about 30% of fulfillment rate. It got way faster, about 30% faster to fill orders. And one of the other big wins is that they had zero fines since they implemented the system, because now they know how much weight they're loading on a truck.
That's interesting. One of those same clients used our solution to identify slow moving inventory and adjusted their purchasing, resulting in a 15% cost savings. So again, a lot of these things really, provide value and get returned very, very quickly. I know you were talking earlier about, penalties and fines, and it kind of reminds me of, a situation that we had with one of our clients where, they were analyzing their fulfillment. And, one of the challenges that they had was, for some of these major suppliers or major companies that they're dealing with, if you don't fulfill at, let's say, 95%, you're going to get hit with fines, because you're not fulfilling the order, you're not hitting their proper SLA. And so what we did is we identified which areas of the business the customer was experiencing those short shipments. And when we did the analysis, they had an overall fulfillment of about 87%, which is relatively good. However, we pointed out to them that remaining 13% accounted for $8 million in lost revenue. So it was a huge opportunity. And today, a significant portion of their organic growth stems from focusing on those lost opportunities that were identified in our QuickStart solution. But more importantly, again, just like you, they were able to lower their overall penalties that they were getting hit and increase their fulfillment rate while at the same time be able to make up for that lost revenue. I remember having that conversation, with the owners of the company, and they were dumbfounded in regards to those numbers. But then when we were able to give them the details down to not only down to the customer, but down to the item and down to the order, and gave them that level of visibility, was just game changing for them. And having conversations with them saying, so how are things going this year compared to last? Like, yeah, growth is up, and it's a lot of it has to do with some of that information that you provided to us, that where we saw where the challenges were coming. So this is truly where we see ROI with our strategic vision for collaboration, and we want to emphasize really the complementary nature of Linfa for operational control and NewIntelligence for strategic insights.
That's wonderful story, Corey, because this truly prove exactly what we were saying before. They can still run the warehouse and fulfill the orders. Yes. Did they know how fast they were going and how much they were losing there? How much they were consuming with today in the cars you even have on the dashboard. What's your consumption? Exactly. How much they were wasting away. So that's exactly the proof of what we were
Absolutely.
saying earlier.
So, from a strategic vision perspective, looking ahead, how do you see our collaboration evolving to meet the future needs of SAP Business One users?
Hey, great. So in terms of what next, right? What's next for us? What's next for us together, especially? Um, we definitely, TBO for WMS is always constantly updating, and we also invest in something called the Opera, which is a platform for B1 to take supply chain to the next level. So basically, what we're doing, we're looking on gaps on SAP Business One, where it's a great tool, has so many functions. But when you specialize in supply chain, of course, there might be some processes that are a bit more clunky, and we see common struggle amongst our customer. For example, automate the peak release and track packages. One example is like ERP. They don't have a concept of getting delivered. The goods they get shipped, but they don't get once they ship, that's it. That's out of inventory.
Mhm.
With our tool, you'll be able to track, for example, from the different carrier, are they in transit as the goods being delivered, and if there's any exception that has not been picked up. So our mission again is to fill every gap in the ERP, look on areas that can be improved from ISV like us, that we can provide those tools to empower SAP Business One, and everything will be web-based and service layer based. So we always follow, the latest technology of the ERPs.
Okay, that's interesting. That's going to give a different level of visibility, especially on the delivered stuff, that customers don't necessarily have that, because they feel that once it's shipped out or leaves the warehouse, it's shipped. It's delivered. And then giving them that level of visibility, I can see that's important. From our side, we're expanding AI capabilities and exploring deeper integration with SAP Business One and Linfa's ability to enhance true visibility into the data, really making that data actionable. And what we're trying to do is really leverage the IBM AI strategy and analytics to SAP Business One customers to easily get them started. So again, overall, I think that's a great way to do it. Now, for customers that are interested to learn more or want to take things to the next level, where can our listeners go to learn more or get started?
Where what I can say is that whenever there is a SAP Business One customer or a partner that is ready to level up their warehouse or they can jump over to our website, linfasystem.com, fill out the contact form, and we'll schedule a demo. But before that, we'll dive to your needs. We set up a live demo, and we can then even send you a free trial of our hardware like scanners or printers just to make sure it works to their needs. And this we see ourselves as a shortcut to a smarter, faster, and full visible supply chain. No more guesswork, just results.
Fantastic. And for our side, you can head to sap.newintelligence.ca to see really how QuickStart can transform your SAP Business One reporting and help the AI insights take you to another level. So I want to thank Giancarlo, you for today. I really appreciate it. Before we kind of wrap up, do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up this episode of the B1 Exchange?
I think one of the thoughts that we try to go over and over, it was that having a great solution, a lot of data, it is number one step to put the data into your system. But having also a partner like you, and having a combination of two ISV that will provide both the data that needs to be used, put it in an efficient way, but having also the ability to go out there and get an ISV that will pull that data and use AI agent rather than be able to create dashboards that are actionable, well, as well as a pre-built module like yourself, like the QuickStart. We see that as an extreme success. So again, we tell everyone to just go out there, hunt for a great solution like the one that you offer, and hopefully we offer, and just get your research done and reach out for great ISV that they are there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today. And for everyone that's listening, I look forward to catching up with everyone on the next B1X. Looking forward to it. Have yourself a great rest of the day and catch you on the next episode of the Business One Exchange.